Hello everyone, Mrhappy here, and welcome to, well, whatever day of the week it's going to be when you actually see this. Mondays with Mrhappy, aka Mrhappy Mondays, the weekly Q&A show where you ask me questions and I answer them. If you're wondering why this is late, at the end of the last Monday episode, I did remind everyone I was going to PAX West the following weekend, so this video would definitely be late. I didn't have time to record it on Monday after I got back. It's been Tuesday, and that's what I'm recording it now. I don't know if it'll be out Tuesday night. Honestly, I think it would be best if I just posted it Wednesday morning, so Wednesdays with Mrhappy this week. For videos for the week, not a whole lot because I was at PAX for the majority of last week, but we do have a few things, so I'll just put those down at the bottom. My nose also itches a lot, so I apologize if you see me doing this occasionally. I'm just trying to scratch it a little bit. Quick reminder about a few things. For one, I didn't actually know about this till just this last week because I was supposed to fly to London, but I didn't know that till 6 days ago. I found out that there's an Abbey Roads concert at I think 11 a.m. PDT tomorrow or Wednesday on Wednesday, September 7th, and that's going to be live streamed on Twitch. If I can find the link, I'll post it in the description of the video. I was actually offered to fly to London last Thursday, right after PAX. Right after PAX, is it possible to fly to London? Don't have a passport, so I did just fill out my passport, and I got to take it down to the local post office sometime in the next couple of days, so that way I can get that approved. I won't make it to London, but next time I get the offer, it'll be there. So hopefully I'll be able to go international at some point. Mrhappy, international spy. So definitely be sure to check that out on Twitch. Also, don't forget GameStop Expo, September 14th. I will be attending that. That's in Anaheim, California. I'm a special guest, so I heard great things about it last year, so if you're someone who's in the Anaheim area, check it out. I've been putting it in the description of all my videos, so just go there, buy a ticket, and I'll see you there. I'll definitely make sure I make time to see the people who came out of their, who took the time out of their day to come to the GameStop Expo. Sorry for hitting the microphone. And on top of that, I don't know. I feel like there's something else I'm forgetting to announce here. No video questions this week. Didn't get any submissions. If you want to, you know, that email is always in the description of the video as well. So without further ado, this video is late enough as it is. Let's get right into the question, shall we? All right, question number one. Hello, mister. Do you do any video game collecting? You can find all kinds of people on YouTube who do videos in front walls covered by their giant video game collection. Do you do any collecting like this at all? So I used to do a minor collection of collector's editions, like, you know, Type 0 collector's edition, Final Fantasy X and X-2 collectors, Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls collectors. Unfortunately, when I moved to California, the only box that went missing was the box that had all those collector's editions in them. So that wasn't really a big collection, but it was the only collection I had. Now it's gone, so I don't bother collecting anything anymore. I pretty much just do everything digital unless it's something I really want. I'm getting the 15 physical collectors, the Ultimate Edition, but I mean, other than that, no, I wouldn't really say I do any video game collecting. Also, the whole Puppet Master thing in the Rising, they're not going to do Puppet Master. It's not going to happen. I wanted to, but it's never going to happen. All right, question number two. Hello, Mrhappy. First time asker, so I have a bonus of whatever you feel you need more of. Actually, I need to lore cap this week. This might be a long one, so read ahead if you need to. Well, I could always just read the bolded point. My question is about endgame rating. How does one deal with the fear of running 8 or 24-man raids? So I've actually answered this question fairly frequently, so I don't feel like I need the whole backup, you know, where you say, you know, I'm generally good at running dungeons, you know, but when I start being around other people, it's really that anxiety of worrying about people judging you. I never had that fear. I mean, I'm a broadcaster. I stream my gameplay. Even if I'm doing a 4-man dungeon, if there are 300 or 400 people watching me on Twitch, it doesn't matter if there's 24 people in the instance or 8. It's the other 400 people watching me that I have to consider. So I never really had that anxiety. The bigger problem is me worrying about my exact performance. And that's not an anxiety thing. That's more like, am I doing well? Am I not doing well? I want to make sure I understand if there's places I can improve. But that doesn't really factor into how many people are watching. So my biggest thing here is just focus on doing your job. If somebody else isn't doing their job, it's good to be able to cover for them if possible. But focus on you and your job first and foremost. And if somebody judges you, it's like it's fucking random people on the internet that you probably don't know. So yeah, if you occasionally run into people that you might see on your server, or maybe you queue in with other people you know, but for the majority, it's just fucking strangers, dude. Just imagine them just imagine them in their underwear, and you'll be okay. And some people glamour in their underwear anyway, so they're way ahead of you. They're way ahead of you in the first place. So I think you're just over. The biggest thing with fear and anxiety is there's no quick way to just get over it. There's no like, yeah, if you just do this, you'll get over it. So any answer I give you is not necessarily going to be an effective answer. I feel it's a lot of it is just you're so focused on what other people think of you. You're not actually thinking about whether or not you're having fun, whether or not you're or how you're performing or what you could do. Focus on other aspects that other than the other people in the group. If people screw up, it's good to understand where they went wrong when you're paying attention, but it's more important to ensure that you do exactly what you're supposed to do. Worry about improving your situation otherwise, making up for other people's mistakes after you've taken on that hurdle. I remember what the other thing was I wanted to say is I did find my gunners, but I'm not wearing them because, as you can see, they occasionally create, like, because of the lighting, like, you can sometimes see through my glasses. That's always been a thing with the gunners because they're green, but whatever. That was the thing I wanted to say at the beginning of the video that I forgot. Next question. Hey, Mr. Happy, first-time asker, long-time watcher, so I have a bonus tombstone of law. Wow, you are just way behind. Those are getting removed in 3 weeks. You're off, man. My question concerns statics and team composition. For TLDR, feel free to skip to the end. TLDR, do you think it will be possible to make a credible attempt at 3.4 Savage progression while using a party composition that includes both a bard and a machinist? I wouldn't say world progression, but you could beat Savage with both a bard and a machinist. I wouldn't ever consider for world progression to do that. I'm not saying it's not possible. People do like weird compositions for fights all the time. So, I mean, it's just a matter of not overusing their utilities that sacrifice DPS. Like, don't be like, hey, we need MP and TP at the same time. Use Bard and Machinist. It's more like just have one of them time it better. You shouldn't need, this should not be. Well, hopefully there's not a boss in 3.4 where you desperately need both TP and MP at the same time. Who knows, maybe then Bard and Machinist ends up being super OP because DPS checks aren't a big thing, especially with that being the consideration. I don't think you'll have such a major problem that you need to rework the composition. It's not the most optimal, but all I'll say is, if one of your melee DPS isn't a Dragoon, I'll be really, really upset because Dragoon, if you're going to have both Bard and Machinist, having a Dragoon in the raid to give them the piercing debuff definitely helps alleviate some of that concern that you seem to be dealing with. Next question. Yo, Hap. So my question is going to piggyback off a question from last week regarding the plan to make jobs less difficult. So with the agonizingly long discussion of the new hotbar system, it seems they are gearing up for adding more actions with the level cap increase. But a lot of what they talked about lead me to believe they were going to lean back towards the way the job's played in 2.0. Now, personally, I don't mind the difficulty, but how does adding more actions make a job easier? Simple. When you call the old actions, removing old actions or combining old actions to have multiple effects is usually the best way to do that. Also, to cut back on the number of skills that you generally need in your rotation versus skills that are just utility. Like, imagine if full thrust also applied disembowels effect, and then what's it called, Fang and Claw also applied chaos thrust effect. All of a sudden you don't need that combo anymore, and you've just essentially culled out 3 abilities and made room for other utilities that you can add into the game. So there are ways to do it. Trust me, World of Warcraft has been doing it for ages. I understand World of Warcraft's rotations have never been complex. They've always been stupid easy. It's still just the way of looking at it. It's been done in other games, and it's been done for over a decade. Final Fantasy XIV could do it just as well. They just need to take a different approach because of the way that rotations are so intricate with certain jobs. Next question. Hello, Happy. Sorry, no bonus, but here's a hug from my free company, Outlaw Star on the Cerberus server. I feel like, well, obviously I've seen the anime or the season, the 26 episodes Outlaw Star has. But I feel like I know about that free company, or someone's mentioned it before. Anyway, question 1, do you think Alamigo will be a starting city? No. They're not going to take a new city and turn it into a starting city. It's going to be a hub, most likely. If we even actually end up in Alamigo, and that's not where, like, the home base is. Like, by the end of the expansion, maybe we have Alamigo. There's no guarantee that we liberate Alamigo before the expansion even begins, or even throughout the course of 4.0's story, before we go to 4.1, 4.2, etc. But no, it definitely won't be a starting city. It'll be more like what Idleshire is now, if anything. Question 2. My friend thinks there's going to be a Kingdom Hearts event and a 15 event. So the 15 event is very likely because they've discussed it many times before. Yoshi P says he actually doesn't want to do it right when 15 is launching. He'd rather people have the opportunity to play it and connect with the series before doing a collaboration event for 15 because it is such a story-driven game. Expect a Final Fantasy 15 event. Kingdom Hearts event, I would be surprised if Square Enix didn't do because Square Enix loves using Final Fantasy 14 to promote other games. So I personally expect an event for both Kingdom Hearts 3, not 2.8, 3, and Final Fantasy 15, but not anytime soon. Next question. Hi, Happy. Hi, Dwayne. You rock. I will join the fray and give you a frozen tear of unrequited love to remind you of the hardships of love. And for Dwayne, a shiny combination of oxidized minerals and to rock the next eon. Wow, you made that rock pun twice in a row. I'm proud of you. Because all good things come in threes, I have 3 questions for you. One, I like your content on YouTube, but I don't follow Twitch. If I want to show you my direct and intimate support, what other options do I have? Well, YouTube technically has a tipping service where if you like someone's content, you can contribute by literally tipping the entire channel. It needs to be included, I think, in the, not the annotations, in the, I can't remember, the cards. Like sometimes you see like an eye in the top right corner of a video, and if that has the option to support the channel, or you can, I don't know, you can actually go directly to the YouTube channel itself, and there should be a button for it somewhere. I don't know, because I don't super promote that feature on YouTube a lot, because it's just like it's there, and some people have used it occasionally. I mean, right now is a way of doing it. I mean, just participating in Mondays with Mr. Happy is actually a pretty meaningful way of doing it. But I'm assuming when you say direct and intimate, you're talking monetary. So, I mean, unfortunately, I put a lot of effort into the Twitch stream when it comes to that front, because YouTube has always worked in such a way where it's like, it's great. I can make a video, it's posted, people don't have to buy anything, they don't have to pay for anything, and that still creates income for the channel. Whereas Twitch, it's like, yeah, that does kind of happen, but the majority of the income is through subscribers or through cheers or through tips or for buying a loot crate or buying Steel Series or buying a game off Green Man Gaming. You know, it's far more diverse, and it requires a lot more of my time and effort to ensure that it's a reasonable thing that people can use and not a ridiculous thing. Subscribing on Twitch, cheering on Twitch, all those things are like the #1 way. If you really don't want to follow Twitch, then the only option I really have for you is the YouTube thing. Some people have recommended I go back to using a Patreon. I used the Patreon for quite some time. I then got a fraudulent $5,000 pledge on Patreon. And since then, I was kind of turned off from the platform. They've made strides to improve situations like that. But it just left such a sour taste in my mouth. It hasn't been another option for me as of recent. It's possible it returns in the future, in which case I incentivize it with things like extra videos or guarantee a question on Mondays with Mr. Happy, kind of like what I'm doing with Game Wisp right now. But we'll see about that. That's still up in the air, and I don't want to push too many forms of monetization that are just direct support to me and don't actually offer too much back to the channel as a whole. Although I could do for Patreon, I could bring back Mondays with Mr. Happy if I got like enough pledges. That could be a thing. Just encouraging certain YouTube video series that I don't give too much attention to anymore through Patreon, like Bestiary, which I actually had an idea for recently that I should really act on if I just wasn't at conventions or flying out to places. Like, this is a crazy month for me to try and do something like that. So we'll see. 2, I'm in a complete media lockdown in regards to Final Fantasy 15. So much so that I probably have to cover my ears if you decide to answer this question. I will tell you, I am going to be recording a Final Fantasy 15 video, just on my thoughts on the demo and what we saw at the panel, which I'm not going to say right now, don't worry. But from what I saw, I can't help but have this fear going. No, you know what? Here's what I'll tell you without telling you anything. No spoilers. I played an hour-long demo of it at PAX West. I pretty much have no fears about that game, other than maybe the occasional, like things like FPS slowdowns or like their hair, not like the anti-aliasing on the hair. The combat flows a lot better now. The story, there's cutscenes that even if you aren't on media lockdown for Final Fantasy 15, there's cutscenes that haven't been shown that were available in that demo that completely quashed my fears about the story and the connection that the characters have. I no longer have fears about Final Fantasy 15. I would have gladly paid $60 for what I played in that hour-long demo, minus the few things like the hair. I didn't even get FPS slowdowns. It was just the hair that I experienced the troubles with there. And 3, what character from a game would have the best pickup line ever? For me, the answer is simple. Slyboots from Anacondrox. I don't know. I never think about things like this. Like, Dwayne would be like, I'll rock your world, but he's not from a game. Oh, he's from the WWE games. There we go. Dwayne, I'll rock your world, babe. There you go. Anyway, so thank you for asking your questions this week. Alright, next question. Hi, Mike. I got no idea for a question roulette. So, should the Palace of the Dead become the new endgame? No. Hell no. Nope. Nope. Not a zip. It's not well enough designed to even remotely consider that. And yes, you could say if it was the primary raid, it could be better designed. No. Not digging it. Not liking the idea. Just no. On that note, next question. Hello, Happy. Haven't asked a question in a while, but I've done plenty of channel stalking. I have two pretty short questions, so here you go. I went back and tried to watch your old Dark Souls 3 videos, but I noticed they just stop once you reach... So I ran into a major issue with posting those Dark Souls 3 videos, where every time I rendered one, there was this... I guess you can notice it in the last 2 or 3 videos. There's some sort of video, like, fluctuation thing, and it's not in the original recording. It doesn't happen when I render any other game content. I didn't change any settings. It's just Dark Souls 3 that's happening on, and it kind of destroyed my ability to post those as much as I wanted to. I played a lot of Dark Souls 3 since then. Like, I did a fist only run. I think the only 2 bosses I hadn't beat were the very final boss and what was the other one? The Forgotten King. I can't. It's been so long since I played. I forgot his name. The one with that rides the dragon. You know, I haven't beaten him and the other one with the fist, but I beat everything else, including Yorm. I beat him with just punching him, and that took like 45 minutes. No, yeah, I after I ran into that issue, I could not find a fix for it, so I wasn't gonna just keep posting them with that fucked up problem. 2, have you seen the trailer for the Ashes of Ariandel? Yes, I have, and honestly, the more I played Dark Souls 3, the more it rose sort of on my list of like favorite Souls games. Bloodborne is still my all-time favorite Souls game, but Dark Souls 3 has now edged up to be my second favorite one, just based on the way it expanded on Dark Souls 1. I enjoyed the combat improvements, I enjoyed the bosses, the aesthetics, I enjoyed everything about Dark Souls 3 essentially. And it didn't have the issue of Dark Souls 2 with making a bunch of shitty bosses and then making good bosses in the DLC. And Demon Souls is always a good game, but it was never super high on the list for me. It was a game that I enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to Ashes of Ariandel. The only problem with it is it comes out the same day as World of Final Fantasy, so balancing those two is going to be a bit difficult. So I might not play Ashes of Ariandel right away. I might wait a week to play it. We'll see. But thanks for the questions. All right, next question. Hey, Happy, how are you? I'm doing all right. Hopefully you're doing good as well. Wanted some advice and thought you might be able to help. Gonna give a bit of background, but if you don't have time, skip the first paragraph. Sometimes I just skip the first paragraph just to see what the question is, to see if I just have a thought on it without the background. So my question is about synergy with ninjas, in particular Trick Attack. Should I be saving certain abilities to line up with Trick Attack rather than using everything? So there can be times where that is efficient to use. A lot of times people actually put that responsibility on the ninja. You look at the collective increase in damage, if you want to take the time to do all that math. If I were to do my Trick Attack at GCD early, for example, and yeah, it doesn't line up with my opener, and I don't get all of the off GCDs available at time, and it makes it really hard to get to the duality at the very end. Yes, all those things are in consideration, although you can always move around your opener in order to fit in Trick Attack and fit in the more important abilities. Or maybe if the ninja delays Trick Attack by GCD, it'll line up with my entire Wildfire opener or something like that, or both my clean shots or something like that as a machinist. Like, a lot of people put that responsibility on the ninja. The short answer is not always. The long answer is, if you really want to take the time to figure it out, yes, it can be worth either the ninja doing it a GCD earlier or a GCD late, or you as a DPS actually saving something an extra couple of seconds to line up better with Trick Attack. It does have its merits at times. I can't tell you the exact situations where it's better, especially the situation where you list directly above. I don't know if that's a situation mathematically that ends up being better. Maybe somebody who's listening to this can say if there's a time where as a Dragoon you want to save a cooldown for Trick Attack, because they would know better than I would. Alright, next question. I really, really want the new blue Allegan orb from the Shatter PvP mode. How do I obtain it when I can never queue in for the... You just have to figure out when your data center, when it's prime time. Like, for example, on Gilgamesh, prime time for Shatter is like 5 to like midnight PM EST or something like that, or PDT or something like that. You need to be queuing in during times where it is optimal. And even then, you have to be willing to wait a few minutes, at like 8 to 10 minutes for a queue, because it's not going to be that poppin' every single night. And even then you have to win. So make sure you're trying your best once you go into Shatter. Alrighty then, next question. Sup Haps, first time asker, long time viewer, have a 3.4 beta. Yes! World first. My question is about Machinist rotation. Oh god. I'm going to see what I can remember, because I've said this before, I'm not a good machinist. Not in any respect am I a good machinist. And I barely spent enough time on the job to even remotely begin understanding how it's played. My opening is with Gauss Barrel. Okay, so you start with Gauss Barrel on. I can already tell you that unless this is like the 5 ammo opener, which I'm assuming it's not, I don't see, like, No, yeah, this is very, very off. Your wildfire is like after. Oh, actually, the early Gauss round is actually something I know of. But unless this is like the 5 ammo opener here. You know what I can very easily do? I can pull up all of the openers, and I can tell you if this is effective. I'm thinking of like the 2 ammo opener, which is the opener I'm most familiar with. But I don't want to say that's the only opener. So let's see. You have the standard 2 ammo opener, which I can already tell you you're not doing. You have the standard 5 ammo opener, which I can also tell you you're not doing. You have the max wildfire potency 5 ammo opener, where you start with Gauss Barrel off, and you hypercharge before you even use your opener here. You even open with a slug shot just to prep a clean shot. So you don't do that. You clearly don't. Yeah, so that's not one. DPS rotations. Yeah, no. So I thought there was a double Gauss round opener. I guess I don't know if I'm seeing it here. Maybe I'm just not paying enough attention. Let me just look for the word Gauss round and see if there's a situation where there's a double Gauss round here. I guess I'm not seeing anything regarding a double Gauss round opener. So okay, you start with Gauss Barrel, that's fine. Hotshot Gauss round. So first of all, if you're doing the 2 ammo opener, you would want to start with Quelling Strikes, Hawk Strikes, Blood for Blood, Raging Strikes before the pull even starts. You're not going to try to squeeze that in after the slug shot, and then you definitely don't want to be reassembling Blood for Blood, Hawk's Eye, Raging Strikes, Hypercharged Dex Spot all in the same off global cooldown. You never want to do that. You don't want to pop every single thing when there's plenty of time to do it in between GCDs and ensure you have uptime on the boss. Even in the 5 ammo opener, in all the openers, it looks like you pretty much full buff before you start. The max wildfire potency 5 ammo opener actually has you doing Hawk's Eye and Blood for Blood after an initial slug shot to prep an early clean shot. And then you even start with Gauss Barrel off until after Hotshot. And you know, I should just be linking you. You should just Google Creator MCH for Machinist, because I can tell you right now, regardless, your opener is just, it's not good. I'll say it right out. The 2 ammo opener is the easiest one to practice. The other openers are going to take more practice on top of that. But yeah, I would just Google Creator Machinist, because your opener is just way off. The wildfire before the clean shot is actually the right thing, especially for the max ammo. The 5 ammo max wildfire potency. That's what you're supposed to do, is prep a clean shot and use your wildfire just before it. You don't even use the reassemble at that point, though. You would use the reassemble on the next clean shot, not the first clean shot. So, like, the order after wildfire, so after hot shot, lead shot, and after prepping a clean shot with a straight up slug shot, you'll have all your buffs up, potion, hypercharge is up, all that stuff is up. You would wildfire, clean shot, quick reload, rapid fire, split shot, Gauss, slug, reload, split shot. And this is if you start with 5 ammo, mind you. Gauss round, slug shot, reload, because at that point you'd be out of ammo. Split shot, reassemble, clean shot, ricochet, head graze, slug shot, blank, clean shot. Like, you don't even, oh no, yeah, that's a procced slug shot. And then you turn Gauss Barrel off, split shot, wildfire explodes, Gauss Barrel on, quick reload, and then slug shot, clean shot. Yeah, just Google Creator Machinist, because you definitely have a lot of work to do on this opener. There's a lot of things that definitely need to be improved on here. So hopefully that was of use. I know it was a little harsh at times, but some of what you have is right, but the use of your buffs is very, very, very off. Will I make guide for the next Savage Alexander tier? I might. 3.0 was a tough time to do those. I did a 1, 2, and 3, but then 4 had just drained me of all my energy, so I didn't want to do it. I didn't raid in 3.2 until like 7 weeks after the patch started, and even then I stopped raiding like 2 weeks later, and then I didn't start raiding till like another 3 months later, and I just beat A8 Savage, so it's like my raids was all over. Now that I'm going to be raiding in 3.4, I think it's probably more feasible, but we'll see, because it's a lot of time, a lot of work into those, and the raid scene is not very popping right now, so I don't know that those are going to be super useful in the first place. So anyway, thank you for the question. All right, next question. I think we have like 4 questions remaining in the video. That's why I took a little bit more time on that last one. Hey, Mr. Happy, thanks again for putting out more quality content and helpful tips for everyone. I'm glad that you enjoy it. For that, have a choice of pie. Apple. apple with some ice cream on top. One question for this week. Can you suggest any summoners or guides for rotations? So the only summoner guide I ever knew of was High's Summoner Manifesto. It was like a 60-page guide to summoner. I don't know. I know good summoners. Like I know Vidula. I know Farana doesn't even play anymore, but he was a good summoner. But I don't have any personal tips. My summoner's 50. It's like 53 or something. I have no knowledge of the job at 60. But High's Manifesto is probably still somewhat accurate. I don't know that things have changed enough for anything to have changed in that guide. So you might want to look that one up. That one is probably your best bet. Hi is an H-A-I-H-A-I. Like hello in Japanese. All right, next question. Hey ya. Yeehaw, Mr. Happy. Yeehaw, Mr. Happy. So I enjoy playing Final Fantasy Mobius on my phone. I actually was playing it while I was at PAX West. Whenever I was like in between things, or I was back at the hotel room. I was sick Friday, so I played a little bit then. It was good. Today I saw 3 new jobs added to the game. New jobs: Samurai, Red Mage, and Sniper. As soon as I saw this, immediately started thinking, no, they're not. There's no correlation between Mobius and Final Fantasy 14. There's zero correlation. Samurai is almost a guaranteed at this point. They've never officially confirmed it. That one's almost guaranteed. Red Mage is high on the probability list. Sniper is not going to happen. Like, first of all, if they did that, Samurai would need to be a tank. Red Mage would need to be a healer. Sniper would need to be another physical range DPS. The game hasn't had another magical DPS added in a long time. And they're not going to make Red Mage be a choice of one or the other. I sincerely doubt they're going to take it to that. I would like them to, but I sincerely doubt they'll take it down that path. Samurai, a lot of people want to see DPS, so that leaves a tank, and Sniper's not going to be a tank. No. This has zero correlation with Final Fantasy 14. And next question. Oh, happy Mr. Happy. I'm assuming you meant to say, oh, happy my happy. Which is funny because at PAX West this last weekend, I had a meet and greet at the Twitch booth, and they misspelled my name from Mr. Happy to My Happy. Great. Anyway, I know you went to PAX East, and I hope you got to go to the final. You mean PAX West? But yeah, I did get to go to. I was at the live Final Fantasy 15 presentation. First time asking, I think I should receive a bonus. I'll gladly accept that RNA Pixel T-shirt. I have one of those to give away, but I don't know when I'm giving it away yet. That said, that dungeon footage was the best I've seen yet. I know you haven't been hating on Final Fantasy 15. You're correct. Like many others, unfortunately, do. So I'd like to hear your impression. I'm actually going to be doing an entirely separate video. TLDR, it was a great presentation combined with my experiences on the demo. Like I said earlier, my worries about Final Fantasy 15 have been quashed. I think it'll be above the game that I expected it to be, but I'm still holding my expectations at about an 8 out of 10 game. From what I've seen, I would gladly give it a 9.5 if the gameplay is consistent and continues to grow well into the later points of the game, because I only got to test the early game parts. That being said, yeah, it's quashed most of my concerns. So, yeah, it was great footage, and I'm looking forward to doing that video. And here we have the final question. I'm not live on Twitch right now, and there were no video questions, so this is the final question. Hey, Haps, thanks for answering my question the other week, the one about kicking out the static member. It actually went very well. I'm glad to hear that, because that usually doesn't go very well. Anyways, here, please take this early access sneak peek. You're the second person to ask it. Oh, at the trailer. I would like that. I would like to sneak peek at the trailer. Now, on to the question. The longer I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV, I've been noticing so many other players with the same face as my character. With each race only having about 4 to 5 presets to choose from, a lot of people tend to gravitate towards the same facial type that looks the best. It really makes me feel ununique. Do you think Square would ever revamp the character customization? Yeah, I think they will at some point. I feel like there's going to be things that they want to do with the character customization. A lot of the times they like to add it as features as opposed to stuff that like a brand new character could do. And that's why you see things like emotes a little bit more frequently. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them add more new character customization, because let's be honest, if you're adding a feature to a game, you want it to generate revenue. Just adding a new default facial feature, do you know how many people without even skipping a heartbeat would buy a Fantasia just to get that new facial feature? Tons of people. They would make money on it. They would make tons of money on it. They wouldn't even have to use that as an expansion selling point. They could do that at any point, and they would sell a shit ton of Fantasias. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a revamp of character customization at some point. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that was the final question for this week's episode of Mondays with Mr. Happy. Again, we have the videos at the bottom. Be sure to check out the GameStop Expo link in the description, and be sure to tune into the Abbey Roads concert tomorrow at 11 a.m. PDT. I will actually be live at the same time. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy the concert at the same time as well. Anyway, that's going to be it for this week. I've got some other videos to record, as I stated, so thank you for joining me, and I'll see you all next week. Be sure to ask those questions. Well, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.